chosen ones, the truth you carried erupted like lightning across the sky, sharp, brilliant, and undeniable. Every word you spoke pierced through layers of deception, landing with clarity that left no room for confusion. You stood firm in the power of your authenticity, unwavering, as the color drained from their faces in the presence of a reality they could no longer reject. The justice within you unveiled what they had buried beneath layers of manipulation, truths too rooted to dismiss, facts too undeniable to distort. What terrifies them now is not your voice, but the chilling realization that everything you warned about was real. These weren't exaggerations or illusions, but unfiltered truth laid bare for all to see. And under the weight of that clarity, their carefully crafted facades are collapsing. Your pursuit of truth, never fueled by revenge, continues to illuminate the very shadows they used to hide in. Rather than accepting responsibility, they retreat deeper into denial. Their eyes dart with unease, their words stumble. Because the accountability they so often demanded from others now feels unbearable when turned toward themselves. But your justice was never rooted in ego. It was a mirror, not a sword. A reflection of a truth they can no longer escape. Your awakening cracked the veil between the seen and unseen, gifting you vision that traced patterns others ignored. You recognized manipulation and named it boldly, and for that, they called you unwell. For your courage, they tried to exile you. But time, the silent witness, has confirmed every word you uttered. Now the reckoning they mocked has arrived on their doorstep. The weapons they forged for you return with divine precision. The traps they dug now claim them. The poison they once spoke into your name now taints their own lips. Not because you sought revenge, but because energy always returns to its source. Now they lie awake, tormented by the codes they once engineered. Their anxiety shatters the illusion of peace, and the misfortunes they hoped would break you now haunt them instead. Ironically, the ones who mocked your foresight now scramble to apply the wisdom you once offered freely. Too proud to acknowledge your clarity, too ashamed to admit you saw what they couldn't. Justice hasn't arrived with fanfare or noise, but like dawn, slowly and inescapably, spreading light into every corner of deceit. Every whispered lie, every backroom scheme, every attempt to isolate and discredit you is now rising to the surface, unable to stay buried. Those who made themselves your judge now face a court far higher, far more exacting, and those who tried to execute your reputation now confront consequences no denial can deflect. They now stand stripped beneath the harsh, holy light of spiritual law. The universe may permit temporary injustice, but it never allows imbalance to last forever. What is unfolding now is not punishment. It is the natural unfolding of divine order. The spiritual equation began the moment they acted against truth. Their panic reveals how deeply they understood the risk, but gambled anyway, betting on your silence, your surrender. What they failed to anticipate was your resilience. They could not see that your soul was shielded by forces far beyond their understanding. They never accounted for the divine favor woven into your destiny. And now, their alliances fracture, their unity unravels. Those who conspire together now turn on one another without hesitation. Without a common enemy to bind them, their loyalty, built on mutual hatred, disintegrates. Their vision, clouded by ego and delusion, fails while yours, sharpened through pain, grows ever clearer. From the beginning, you knew this battle was spiritual. While they obsessed over surface-level victories and appearances, you saw the real war. The one waged in the unseen, the energetic, the soul-deep. What they thought was your defeat was a divine setup. Each trial refined you, forged you into something unshakable. The very suffering meant to destroy you became the source of your authenticity, your power. Meanwhile, Their superficial triumphs decay into downfall. The institutions they once weaponized against you now turn suspicious. The lies they clung to unravel under scrutiny. Even their witnesses now contradict themselves. And still, you lift not a finger. Divine orchestration moves on your behalf. You were never meant to fight in the flesh. This was always a spiritual reckoning. Their refusal to accept accountability isn't strength. It's immaturity. True power takes responsibility. Real leadership confronts failure. Their denial is a mirror of their inner weakness, not just fear of exposure, but fear of facing who they truly are. But the seeds of truth you planted are now sprouting. You don't need to chase justice. It's coming for you. The reality you stood in with unwavering conviction is manifesting, while their illusions, built on sand, crumble under the weight of daybreak. The cosmic perspective now reveals what once felt like isolated betrayals as part of a far greater tapestry. Your private trials are being recognized as reflections of a collective struggle. What felt like a personal war is now a symbol of humanity's awakening. Your vindication is bigger than you. It's a signal to others that truth still stands. Those who exploited your pain, mocked your vulnerability, or dismissed your voice are now buckling under trials that dwarf what they once laughed at. The pain they inflicted returns not through vengeance, but through cosmic law. Justice that is silent, perfect, complete. Watch closely, and you'll see how the weight of deception ages them. Lies exact a price on the body and spirit. The strain shows in their faces, in their posture, in their energy. Meanwhile, you are preserved. You glow stronger with each alignment to truth. Their exhaustion grows with every attempt to maintain appearances. Yours fades as you let go of everything false. The contrast becomes undeniable, their world cracks, yours expands. Through every trial, you were refined. Your suffering was the furnace that shaped your authenticity. What they used to shame you has become your crown. They remain trapped in cycles of their own resistance, rejecting the very transformation that could have saved them. But spiritual law is immutable. What is sent returns. Intention becomes outcome. Energy, once set in motion, completes its journey. Their disbelief in these laws doesn't spare them. It merely delays the inevitable. And now that delay ends. In desperation, they flail. Their accusations grow louder, more chaotic, but carry less weight. Their strategies, once covered, are now exposed. The reckoning they never thought would come now approaches with certainty. Divine timing is not delay, it's precision. What they mistook for your weakness was divine patience. And now, the forces set in motion begin to move with unstoppable momentum. No influence can save them now. No strategy can rewrite the truth. They face not just consequences, but truth itself. Something they cannot corrupt, cannot manipulate, cannot overpower. Your presence, grounded in authenticity, broke their illusion. Your calm revealed their chaos. Your integrity shattered their deception. While they performed righteousness, your spiritual connection made their emptiness undeniable. Your quiet became louder than their noise. Your truth, simply by existing, exposed everything they tried to hide. And now they are left not with control, but with consequences. The very fire they intended to destroy you with became the forge that shaped your armor. Their deception, once a trap, transformed into the foundation of your discernment. Every weapon they wielded against you only added to your strength. What was meant to break you ended up expanding your arsenal, even as theirs depleted. Their once bold confidence has dissolved into caution and silence. Where they used to speak loudly, they now whisper in corners. Where they once moved openly against you, they now creep in shadows. The arrogance that fueled their schemes has been replaced with fear and regret. Now, they find themselves at a crossroads, one path demands accountability, humility, and recognition of their wrongdoing, perhaps even redemption. The other, if they persist in denying truth, leads only to escalating consequences, spiritual collapse, and inevitable destruction. Their fear is not just about what is happening, but about the deeper realization that this might be their final opportunity to choose wisely. The universe may operate with patience, but it is never passive. Moments of reckoning always come. Your justice was never about retaliation. It arrives through revelation. Truth never needs to fight. It only needs to be seen. The light you radiate never harmed the darkness. It merely revealed it. Your clarity doesn't combat confusion. It simply elevates perception. Because you chose to remain in alignment with divine law, justice now unfolds without requiring you to become judge or executioner. The spiritual hollowness of those who opposed you is becoming impossible to hide, while the temporary power they once clung to crumbles under the gaze of eternal truth. They now face cosmic foreclosure, their moral credit exhausted from repeated violations of spiritual law, standing empty, handed before a balance they can no longer escape. In stark contrast, your spiritual wealth, built through integrity, humility, and perseverance, is now undeniable. The very communities that once believed the lies told about you are waking up. Doubt grows where deception once ruled. The same voices that were used to damage your reputation now question everything. The influence your adversaries once held is unraveling, especially in the places they used to hurt you the most. This isn't ego being rewarded. It's truth being confirmed. Truth does not need maintenance or manipulation, unlike lies, which must be constantly defended. Truth stands eternal and independent, and that terrifies those who fought against it. Deep down, even if they won't admit it, they feel the ancient truth of spiritual law stirring in their bones. Their panic is not just emotional. It is the soul recognizing the consequences it called forth. Your vindication carries the unmistakable weight of divine authority. Those who serve truth often face the hardest roads, but they are never abandoned by divine wisdom. The mantle you carried, often under pressure and mockery, is now affirmed by cosmic order. Every word you once spoke that was dismissed is now returning with irrefutable clarity. Notice how precise this justice is. It doesn't operate in vague karma. It strikes exactly where harm was done. Those who slandered you now suffer public humiliation. Those who sabotaged your abundance now face loss. Those who isolated you now find themselves alone. Those who mocked your intellect now wrestle with the collapse of their own mental stability. This is not revenge. It's divine recalibration. Tailored justice guided by spiritual intelligence. And they are only now realizing how protected you've always been. The cosmic shields, the divine guardians, the unseen boundaries, all were in place, invisible to them, but profoundly real. What they mistook for vulnerability was spiritual authority concealed in grace. Their attempts to rewrite the narrative are crumbling under evidence that emerges with surgical timing, often from the very systems they once manipulated. Universal law does not require human belief to function. Their growing desperation is not just a reaction. It is a signal that the scales are balancing. Your endurance, your grace under pressure, your refusal to retaliate. These are now seen as the strength they truly are. Their arrogance, once mistaken for power, now reveals itself as the weakness it was all along. As higher consciousness spreads, light now illuminates the darkest corners where they once operated freely. The panic in their eyes, the evasiveness in their behavior, the trembling in their voices. These are confessions louder than any admission. Your vindication was never about personal validation. It was always about collective awakening. The pain you endured became part of humanity's spiritual curriculum. That's why your justice is not just a correction, but a cosmic message. Truth cannot be buried forever. Their downfall is not just a personal collapse. It's a demonstration of what happens when divine law is repeatedly violated. The difference between you and them now tells the entire story. Your suffering forged peace, their comfort bred corruption. What once appeared to be delay in your justice now proves to be divine timing. The universe didn't forget what happened to you. Behind the scenes, forces you couldn't see aligned events with perfect precision. Not to suit your impatience, but to maximize impact. Their spiritual detachment, once hidden behind bravado and control, now reveals itself as disintegration. This isn't strength, it's a symptom of deep breakdown. The consequences now flooding into their lives span the visible and invisible: financial collapse, relationship dysfunction, emotional chaos, structural ruin. But more than that, a spiritual confrontation they cannot escape. The soul, the one part of them that always knew better, now demands reckoning. Some of this justice is public and loud, others occur in silent, private rooms. But all of it is real. Those who ridiculed your intuition are now being met by realities they cannot explain. Those who mocked your discernment now stumble through crises their logic cannot solve. They've entered a realm their intellect never prepared them for. A world they denied now claims them. Their fears are the soul's honest reaction to truths they thought they could outrun. And now, at the height of their crisis, it becomes clear. The opposition they waged wasn't just against you. It was against divine law itself. Their rejection of sacred truth set in motion a chain of consequences that neither apology nor manipulation can stop. They are now caught in a harvest of their own planting. But you remain still. You understand now the universe doesn't need you to balance the scales. Divine order restores itself flawlessly. Spiritual justice unfolds whether or not you intervene. This knowledge liberates you. You no longer feel the urge to prove or defend anything. Your very existence, your continued peace, your rise in grace, speaks louder than any counterattack. You don't have to argue truth when you embody it. Every breath you take, every step you move forward in light, is a living testimony. You are both evidence and answer, both the witness and the storm. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it arrives quietly, undeniably, and perfectly timed. What you once perceived as delay was never denial. It was orchestration. Now that orchestration is revealing itself. The ones who mocked your journey now find themselves navigating storms they created, led only by the truth they once scorned. Their personal unraveling is more than punishment. It's a reflection of what happens when alignment with illusion is chosen repeatedly over alignment with divine law. And even as their outer world falls apart, the deeper justice plays out on the soul level, beyond anything visible. What is happening now is more than karma. It's cosmic rebalancing. The contrast is final and complete. You rose with humility, they fell with pride. You surrendered to transformation, they resisted truth. You chose light, they clung to shadow. Now, their torment is not your burden, but your peace is your inheritance. Their fear is the soul's confession, the subconscious finally admitting the undeniable. Delay deepened the consequence. Denial only fueled correction. And now justice, real, divine, and eternal, has arrived, not early, not late, but precisely when it serves the highest good. So let them witness it. Let the echoes of their choices teach them what your silence never could. You carry no vengeance, only the calm of divine completion. For what was written in truth has now come to pass. The scales are balanced, the veil is lifted, and you, chosen one, are finally free to rise, without apology, without weight, without looking back. If this message stirred your spirit and reminded you of who you truly are, Don't walk this path alone. Subscribe to Rise and Shini, a sacred space for chosen ones, seekers, and soul warriors. Like, share, and awaken others to the truth they've been waiting to hear. Your light leads more than you know. This is your time. Let the world feel your rise.